10 vehicles that challenged the limits of size, speed, lift, and practicality. This countdown moves from number 10 to number 1, with each archive leading into the next. We begin with Hughes H for Hercules, the machine that tried something new. The Hughes H for Hercules, commonly known as the Spruce Goose, registration NX37602, is a prototype strategic airlift flying boat designed and built by the Hughes Aircraft Company. Intended as a transatlantic flight transport for use during World War II, it was not completed in time to be used in the war. The aircraft made only one brief flight, on November 2, 1947, and the project never advanced beyond the prototype. Built from wood, Duramold process, because of wartime restrictions on the use of aluminum and concerns about weight, the aircraft was nicknamed the Spruce Goose by critics, although it was made almost entirely of birch. The design gamble behind Hughes H for Hercules leads to Caproni CA.60, a machine that pushed a different engineering limit. At number 9, Caproni CA.60, the machine that tried something new. The Caproni CA.60 Transaereo, often referred to as the Noviplano, 9-wing, or Capronissimo, was the prototype of a large 9-wing flying boat intended to become a 100-passenger transatlantic airliner. It featured 8 engines and 3 sets of triple wings. Only one example of this aircraft, designed by Italian aviation pioneer Gianni Caproni, was built by the Caproni Company. It was tested on Lake Maggiore in 1921. Its brief maiden flight took place on February 12 or March 2. Its second flight was March 4. Shortly after takeoff, the aircraft crashed on the water surface and broke up upon impact. The design gamble behind Caproni CA.60 leads to Convair XC-99, a machine that pushed a different engineering limit. At number 8, Convair XC-99, the machine that tried something new. The Convair XC-99, AF 43 to 52,436, is a prototype heavy cargo aircraft built by Convair for the United States Air Force. It was the largest land-based piston engine transport aircraft ever built, and was developed from the Convair B-36 Peacemaker bomber, sharing the wings and some other structures with it. The first flight was on the 24th of November 1947 in San Diego, California, and after testing, it was delivered to the Air Force on the 26th of May 1949, serving in varying capacities until 1957. The Convair Model 37 was a planned civil double-deck passenger variant based on the XC-99, but was not built. The design gamble behind Convair XC-99 leads to Saunders Roe Princess, a machine that pushed a different engineering limit. At number 7, Saunders Roe Princess, the machine that tried something new. The Saunders Roe SR.45 Princess was a British flying boat aircraft developed and built by Saunders Roe at their Cowes facility on the Isle of Wight. It is the largest all-metal flying boat to have ever been constructed. The Princess had been developed to serve as a larger and more luxurious successor to the pre-war commercial flying boats, such as the Short Empire. It was intended to serve the transatlantic route, carrying up to 100 passengers between Southampton, United Kingdom, and New York City, United States, in spacious and comfortable conditions. To achieve this, designers decided early on to make use of newly developed turboprop technology, opting for the Bristol Proteus engines still in development to power the aircraft. The design gamble behind Saunders Roe Princess leads to R100, a machine that pushed a different engineering limit. At number 6, R100, the machine that tried something new. His Majesty's Airship R100 was a privately designed and built British rigid airship made as part of a two-ship competition to develop a commercial airship service for use on British Empire routes as part of the Imperial Airship Scheme. The other airship, the R101, was built by the British Air Ministry, but both airships were funded by the government. R100 was built by the Airship Guarantee Company, a specially created subsidiary of the armaments firm Vickers Armstrongs, led by Commander Dennis Burney. The design team was headed by Barnes Wallis, later famous for his invention of the bouncing bomb. The design gamble behind R100 leads to USS Macon, ZRS-5, a machine that pushed a different engineering limit. At number 5, USS Macon, ZRS-5, the machine that tried something new. USS Macon, ZRS-5, was a rigid airship built and operated by the United States Navy for scouting and served as a flying aircraft carrier, carrying up to 5 single-seat Curtiss F-9C Sparrowhawk Parasite biplanes for scouting or 2-seat Fleet N2Y-1S for training. In service for less than 2 years, the Macon was damaged in a storm and lost off California's Big Sur coast in February 1935, though most of the crew were rescued. The wreckage is listed as the USS Macon airship remains on the U.S. National Register of Historic Places. Macon and her sister ship USS Akron were among the longest and most voluminous flying objects in the world. The design gamble behind USS Macon, ZRS-5, leads to Lund-class Ekranoplan, a machine that pushed a different engineering limit. At number 4, Lund-class Ekranoplan, the machine that tried something new. The Lund-class Ekranoplan, Soviet classification, Project 903, is the only ground effect vehicle, GEV, to ever be operationally deployed as a warship, deploying in the Caspian Flotilla. It was designed by Rostislav Alexeyev in 1975 and used by the Soviet and later Russian navies from 1987 until sometime in the late 1990s. It flew using lift generated by the ground effect acting on its large wings when within about 4 meters, 13 feet, above the surface of the water. Although they might look similar to traditional aircraft, Ekranoplans like the Lund are not classified as aircraft, seaplanes, hovercraft, or hydrofoils. The design gamble behind Lund-class Ekranoplan leads to Schienen Zeppelin, a machine that pushed a different engineering limit. At number 3, Schienen Zeppelin, the machine that tried something new. The Schienen Zeppelin, German, Schienenzeppelin, or Rail Zeppelin was a one-off experimental railcar which resembled a Zeppelin airship in appearance. It was designed and developed by the German aircraft engineer Franz Kruckenberg in 1929. Propulsion was by means of a pusher propeller located at the rear. It accelerated the railcar to 230.2 km per hour, 143 miles per hour, setting the land speed record for a petrol-powered rail vehicle. Only a single example was ever built, which due to safety concerns remained out of service and was finally dismantled in 1939. The design gamble behind Schienen Zeppelin leads to Atmospheric Railway, a machine that pushed a different engineering limit. At number 2, Atmospheric Railway, the machine that tried something new. An atmospheric railway uses differential air pressure to provide power for propulsion of a railway vehicle. A static power source can transmit motive power to the vehicle in this way, avoiding the necessity of carrying mobile power generating equipment. The air pressure, or partial vacuum, i.e., negative relative pressure, can be conveyed to the vehicle in a continuous pipe, where the vehicle carries a piston running in the tube. Some form of resealable slot is required to enable the piston to be attached to the vehicle. Alternatively, the entire vehicle may act as the piston in a large tube or be coupled electromagnetically to the piston. The design gamble behind Atmospheric Railway leads to Beach Pneumatic Transit, a machine that pushed a different engineering limit. At number 1, Beach Pneumatic Transit, the machine that tried something new. The Beach Pneumatic Transit was an early technology demonstrator for underground public transit in New York City. Running on pneumatic power, it was built by Alfred Ely Beach between 1869 and early 1870. The original terminus resided in the basement of the Rogers Peak Building in Lower Manhattan, near the old City Hall station. A one-car shuttle carried riders between the building and a dead end approximately 300 feet, 91 meters away. Despite ambitious plans to construct stations along a 5-mile route to Central Park, the project never expanded beyond the short demonstration track and closed in 1873. That was top 10 experimental machines that tried something new. Every story in this countdown began as a shorter archive, but the connections only appear when the files are placed together. Subscribe for the next collection.